Okay, we're hooking up in sunny California to chat with Daryl Kauleinamoku. Whereabouts in California are you, Daryl?
So I live in Diamond Bar, which is about 20 minutes north of Disneyland and about an hour east of LAX.
Okay. Are you retired? Still working? What are you doing?
I am retired. I retired at 62.
Okay. From having done what for many years?
Um, Software engineering?
Okay. That's awesome. Sounds kind of like a pretty convenient location. Hour
Oh,
away if
yeah.
you need to travel, just an hour to the airport. So,
Yep.
yeah.
And close to Disneyland. So when my siblings had little kids, um, it was very convenient and about 4 hours from Las Vegas.
Oh,
So
okay.
when the kids grew up, that was where we all met.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, Daryl, what year did you start at Kamehameha? Oh,
62. So I started in kindergarten.
okay. I talked to Grayling the other day. You're my second lifer.
Yeah,
Oh, good, good. Where did you grow up on Oahu?
I was in Aiea
Okay.
back when it was all cane fields.
uh, you still have family in Hawaii?
I do. I have my oldest brother is still there in Eva Beach, and my younger brother is also in Eva Beach.
How many siblings do you have?
Four. My sister's in Las Vegas. Youngest brother is in Rancho Cucamonga, about a half hour away from me.
Okay. You get to see them very often?
Uh, I do my at least my youngest brother I do because he's so close.
Yeah.
And whenever family comes up and visits, that's usually where we meet is in Las Vegas.
Okay. Are you the oldest of everybody?
I am three of five.
Okay. Well, kind of right in the middle then, huh?
I am the middle child. Yes,
Awesome. So you made it through all your years at Kamehameha.
I did.
When we graduated, what did you do next?
Went to the University of Redlands. That is in California.
Okay.
So it's about an hour drive east of here.
Now, school names, I get confused and lost. Did Rhonda go there?
Yes,
Okay.
Keith Purdy.
Oh, okay. Good. That was at least a couple. When I went to Willamette that first year, there was like, I don't know, 11, 12, 13 of us all from Kamehameha. So it kept the homesickness away a little bit.
There were other people from Hawaii, various schools. So we kind of glommed on to each other. And that helped to have some kind of a support group.
Yeah, it does. Had you been to the mainland before?
Uh, I did, but it was the usual things when you're a kid. You go there to the parks, to the uh, sightsee,
Yeah.
pretty much.
What kind of work did your dad do?
Dad was a telephone man.
Okay. Was he a Kamehameha graduate?
No,
Okay.
Dad was um, he never finished high school. So he was the oldest in his family, and school was not for him.
Hmm.
But also because he was the oldest, he dropped out also to kind of help out uh, from a fairly large family, also a family of five. So he went to work to help support the family.
Yeah. Did any of your siblings go to Kamehameha?
Yes. So my oldest brother started as a freshman. Now he was Larry. Larry was um, a football player.
Okay.
My sister, who is 3 years older than me, uh, got admitted as a junior. That was kind of
Wow.
hard. Yeah. She went to IA High School, and for years they had been trying to get my sister in, and as a junior, she was finally accepted. But that's kind of hard, although she did fine. But to be transplanted so late in your primary schooling, leaving friends behind.
Yeah.
But she made a lot of really good friends while she was at Kamehameha, so it was okay. Youngest brother uh, started in kindergarten. Uh, Brother John, the one that is also in Eva Beach, never quite made it. Don't know exactly why, but he didn't get accepted. They tried for many years and then stopped trying.
Hmm. So did you do 4 years at
I
Redlands?
did
And you graduated with what kind of degree?
mathematics.
Okay. You enjoyed mathematics in high school?
I did. Um, it was my intent to get my degree and teach, but that didn't happen. My
What?
parents told me, no, no, you're not going to go to college to be a teacher. Make
Wow.
another
Okay.
choice.
Huh. So you graduate from Redlands, degree in mathematics. Did you go out looking for work right away?
Yes. So, one of the advantages of college, other than just education, is the networking. So, one of my friends who I made, he's from a California boy. He's a year older than me. So, when he graduated, he got a job. And when I graduated, he helped me get my job.
At the same place as he was
Same
working?
place. Yes.
And what were you doing?
Um, a computer programmer for aerospace and defense.
Wow. Were you prepared for that, or did you have to go through a lot of training or
Um, I have a minor in computer science, but definitely not enough to prepare me for that job. But I was very lucky in that at the time, they there was a huge need for people with my not necessarily my degree, but that skill set. So they were hiring as many people as they could and still couldn't fill the void. So
wow?
yeah, it was a pretty big industry at that time,
And
which
what would
worked
that have been? Like 80, 81, right in that range?
79,
Okay.
78, 79.
Wow.
So it also worked to my advantage because uh, other companies, Boeing, Lockheed, Martin, uh, they were trying to steal people from other companies. So in order to maintain talent within the company, the annual increases in your salary was pretty high.
Incentive, right?
Yes.
Huh. Cool. So how long is that basically location wise where you were for most of your career, or did you make some moves and some changes, or
I did. I ended up staying with the same company for the whole time. I did interview at other companies, but I had already bought a home. So moving me to another location like San Diego, it's only 2 hours away, but that means I would have to sell the house and I would have to move down there and reestablish myself.
yeah.
So even though I did interview with other companies, I never did pull the trigger and do that. I have several friends and coworkers that did, but I didn't.
So how long were you with your company?
Um, 40 plus years.
Wow. Okay. Was there a gold watch waiting for you on your last day?
Um, no, but uh, there was a good 401k plan and a good retirement plan. So uh, I retired just before COVID.
Okay. Was that just lucky timing for you, or did you see writing on the wall that told you now would be a better time than later? Or
Well, the company that I started with changed hands a couple of times. Um, Bigger companies were looking to swallow up the smaller companies. So I started with Hughes Aircraft. It was an interesting company, definitely an engineering company, but they were owned by Hughes Medical, and Hughes Medical is a nonprofit.
wow. Okay.
So they were um, they had to divest the company that I was with because the company that I was with was making too much money. So
Gotcha.
it affected their nonprofit standing. So GM bought Hughes, and after a while, GM Hughes was bought by Raytheon, and that's where I retired. I was with Raytheon. But the reason I retired was there was another acquisition in place, and the company that was in the process of acquiring Raytheon or that branch of Raytheon, I didn't see the synergy between the two companies. Um, I kind of thought there might be some problems with the company with this acquisition, so I decided to retire. And even though it's still going on, different management style. So it's not the same company that I started with, but that was the reason that I retired.
Okay.
The whole COVID thing was just a coincidence, but like so many people, it kind of threw a monkey wrench into your life.
Yeah.
So all the plans that I had for retirement, most of it didn't happen because of COVID.
Oh boy.
Yeah, yeah, you're not traveling. I wanted to go back to school and take some classes. Well, that didn't happen either.
Hmm.
Uh, I was um, I had approached the local elementary school, and uh, I was going to work there as a volunteer, helping the kids. And that didn't happen. The schools weren't letting anybody that didn't have to be there on the campuses.
Yeah. Okay.
So I had to make some other choices after COVID hit.
Now, so earlier in the last 50 years, then, because you talked about how your travel plans were kind of stunted by COVID, have you managed to do some traveling in your last 50 years? Recreational traveling?
Oh, recreational travel. Um, no, I'm not really a traveling kind of a person. So I was a little bit of a enigma to the company that I was with. Uh, as I got more senior in the company, they wanted me to travel more. So they asked me to take a 2 year assignment in Germany. No,
You- Oh,
they wanted
okay.
me to take a 1.5 year assignment in Paris. No, they wanted me to take a 1 year assignment in Scandinavia. No, they wanted me to take a 2 year assignment in Saudi Arabia. Definitely no.
Yeah. I would have had definitely on that one, but boy, those could have been some great opportunities to see a little bit of the world.
It was absolutely a really good opportunity. And so other people welcomed it. The only traveling assignment that I took was to China.
Okay. How long was that for?
It was 6 weeks to do an installation. And the only reason I took that one is that my mom is second generation Chinese. So she always wanted to see the old country, but at that time she was in her 60s and traveling alone was a definite no. So I took that assignment, went to China, worked there for 6 weeks. And at the end of that assignment, I flew mom into China.
Okay.
And then I took her around for 2 weeks to whatever she wanted to see.
That
So,
must have been pretty fun.
yeah, it was very interesting. She'd never been, but her family was from Macau. So that's, yeah, it's an island kind of in the south of China and very poor. But the dialect was a poor man's Cantonese.
Mm.
So when we were going around Beijing, she told me that my Chinese was pretty bad, which is true. It was very bad. But when she told me what I was supposed to say, I had to tell her that, Mom, we're in Beijing. It's Mandarin. It's not Cantonese. They don't understand you, Mom. And it was true. They didn't understand her.
Because if I understand correctly, Chinese population in Hawaii is more Cantonese than Mandarin, right? Have you heard
It,
that?
it, it probably is.
Okay. Because I forget who I was talking to about how the Cantonese has a harshness to it. Like when you go eat Chinese food in Hawaii, back in the kitchen, it sounds like two or three guys are fighting with one another, just angry as heck. But that's just communication, you know.
Yes.
It's like a
So
job I had in California. One of the office staff was, what was she, Puerto Rican, I think it was. And I heard her in her office one day on the phone, just, I mean, sounded like she was chewing somebody out. And then when she came out, I asked her if everything was okay. And she goes, yeah, I was just talking to my mom, saying hi. And I went, whoa.
Yeah. Yes. Similar experience. I was a younger guy. I was dating a girl from uh, China. So I went to go pick her up one day, and she and her parents were just yelling at each other. So when we got in the car, I said, is everything okay? She goes, yeah, why? I said, well, you're kind of yelling at each other. Oh, we always talk like that. Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah. If you're not used to it, boy, it's a shocker.
It really is.
I was going to ask, I forget how I picked this up, if it was third hand from somebody else, but you have a hobby raising and showing dogs, don't you?
Oh, I wonder how you found that one out.
Do you know Brunson Achu? He
No,
raises Great Danes.
no.
I'm thinking it was from him. He's just an acquaintance I have through a networking group of people from Hawaii who live on the mainland. So yeah, I don't know, but that's the only connection I can think it would have come to because he shows the Great Danes. And what kind of dogs do you show?
Golden retrievers.
Oh, okay. How many do you have?
Right now I have two.
Okay. Is showing dogs kind of a seasonal thing or
No.
monthly, or how does that schedule run?
There are various clubs that apply to AKC to put on a show, and they advertise it, and then people send in entries to the dog show. So maybe one thing I should clarify with that, what you see on TV, like Westminster, that is one type of dog show. There are lots of different types. That
Oh,
one
okay.
is confirmation. It's how pretty your dog is. I don't do that. What I do is I show more in the performance venues. So
Oh,
I
okay.
do obedience, I do rally, I do agility, I do scent work.
Wow.
So it's kind of different, and I'm at shows maybe 2 weekends out of every month.
Oh, okay. How did you get into it?
So one of my friends from work, his sister-in-law and her mother uh, did obedience work, and I had Goldens, but they were just pets. So one day it was a play date, and she told me, you really should think about showing in obedience. So we talked about it and never really quite did it. I could have done it, but I didn't do it with that set of dogs. But when I lost my last dog, uh, she called and says, I have a friend who has a dog that you need to have. So I went and I met the dog. The dog took an instant liking to me. Yeah, go figure. There's no accounting for taste. But I got the dog, and she said, come on over and I will help you. So every weekend I would go over and she would show me how to train the dog and how to find out what the rules and regulations are for showing the dog. So that was my first performance dog. And that was in my 40s that I got Hunter. So I showed him, and he was He was a dog that should have been an obedience champion. Should have been. He had a terrible handler, but
Well, everyone has to learn, you know.
oh yeah, yeah. But yeah, I got hooked. Then I started them in also in rally, which is a similar thing to obedience. And then with my current guy, he's almost 11 years old. But when he was a puppy, okay, I'm going to do the obedience and rally stuff. But uh, when I took him over to do a puppy test to see what his instincts are, they told me, yeah, obedience is a really good place for him, but you need to show this dog in agility.
Mm.
So, well, okay, what is agility? It's an obstacle course. So you run your dog through an obstacle course. That's one that you might see on TV every once in a while. It's really a lot of fun to watch.
It it
But
it seems like you'd really need to know what you're doing when you're training because I don't know how, like that one where they go back and forth through the sticks.
yes,
I don't know how you would train a dog to do that. You know, I mean, just lead it through until it, I don't know. It just seems like there'd be some real work there, you know.
if you know what you're doing, and I had my friends who knew what I was doing, and I took classes. It seems that's what I thought too. But in about 4 weeks, uh, he was weaving. He was going through
Wow.
the weave holes, but it was because of the way they told me to teach him. And I know 3 methods to do it, and all of them work. But the one that I liked is called 2 by 2. And it just made a lot more sense to me. So if you know what you're doing, it's not that hard. It just takes
Huh.
time and patience.
Yeah. So do you have equipment at your house or somewhere nearby when you do your training or
I have some equipment, but a lot of the equipment is, it's got a hefty price tag on it. And I don't have a big backyard. So the same friend that taught me how to do the obedience stuff, she bought property that was quite large, and she turned one of the areas into an agility field, and she has all the equipment. So she said, you can come over anytime and use the equipment.
awesome. So in that original puppy test you called it,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I guess they can evaluate a dog's proclivities.
Uh, for a lot of things, they're looking for adaptability, intelligence, um, physical ability, and um, he's this little puppy, and they have the jump set up in the yard just because they don't take it down; they just leave it up. And he ran up to the jump and went, "Oh, look!" And then he jumped over it and jumped back. And they went, "Oh, okay." So they set up a barrier, just about a 4 foot barrier that he could see through. They held him on one side of the barrier. I was on the other side, and he ran up to the barrier and said, "I want to be on the other side. How do I do this?" So he figured out, oh, it's not all the way across the yard. I can go around it. So, okay, he learns quickly. He wants to do things, and he's physically uh, amenable to all the jumping because there's a lot of jumping in agility. So they said, yeah, you got to put him in agility. And he loved it.
And
Absolutely
what is
loved it.
that dog's name?
It's Remy.
Remy. Okay.
So
And so you mentioned having two.
Yes.
Do you show the other one also?
So yes. So the other one is a 5-year-old golden. I've had her for almost a year. One of my dog show friends, she's always had 4 dogs, but she's in her 80s and she's not doing really well. So one of my friends talked to her husband and said, you really not need to start thinking about downsizing. So I took the youngest one to foster her until such time that they were able to take her back. But um, the people that had talked to Chuck about downsizing um, told me she's not going back. She's your dog now. But it's so hard to give up your dog. So that's what we always said. I'm just fostering. But there was never any intent on their part that Dancer should go back to my friend. So she's down to 2, and that's where she's going to stay.
And I know I'm a dog person way more than I am a cat person, and my wife has 2 cats, and we bump a little bit as to which animal has the favored spot in the house. But our neighbor lost a dog earlier in 24, and I saw her with her normal dog that she has left and a puppy. So I asked her if she had made an addition. She said, "No, I'm just fostering it." But I can see where maybe during the fostering period you fall in love too much, and then it just stays.
It's very, very hard to give them up. So the service animals, um, there's centers that handle service animals, but what they do is they get the puppy, they foster the puppy out for a year, and in that year, the foster family will handle all the medical expenses. They do all the training, basic training, and then after a year, they go back to the service center. And the service center will then teach them the specific skills that the animal needs to know before they assign the animal to a person. And yes, it becomes difficult to give them up because they become a part of your life. So, in some cases, it works out okay because not every dog uh, has the adaptability to become a service animal. So after the service center uh, gets the dog back, they will train it, and some of them are dropouts. So now they have to find a home for the dropouts.
Mm.
But
Because from
they
the
don't.
little bit I know, goldens are very social animals, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they're extremely social. That's one of the reasons they're so easy to train is they want to please you. So if you want me to do that, I can do that. And that's the attitude of the golden. Some of the other dogs, you want me to do what? Why would I want to do that? What's in it for me? I ain't going there. No.
Uh,
So your sporting dogs, they you see a lot more of the sporting dogs doing that kind of thing. Service animals, the Labradors. You'll see herding dogs doing more of the protection work, like German Shepherds, Belgian Malinois, Bouvier. defenders. They do police work and security work, but that's instinctively what they did. They protected the flock.
Oh, okay.
So they look at what the dog's aptitudes are, what their instincts are, and they will figure that out. It doesn't mean that you can't have breeds from other areas doing the service animal work. You can, but not all of them make it. Some of them wash out.
Hmm. So you have a show coming up in May?
I do. Um, I was just at a show this past weekend. It was about an hour away. I have another one in the middle of May. It's a scent work trial. Scent work is where the dog has to use their nose. So they will go into a room and they will hide these Q-tip swabs that were dipped in the essential oil. And my dog has to find it. It's a great sport for the older dogs because it's not physically taxing and the dogs are highly rewarded. So they love it.
And geographically for you, do your shows always remain within reasonably comfortable driving distance?
Yes and no. Most of the shows are usually within a 2 hour driving radius, which is, I know it's kind of far when you're from Hawaii.
Yeah, at first, but once I got accustomed to it, I can't go back. When I
Yes.
go home to visit, I drive around Oahu like a maniac. Before my dad passed, he was in Waianae, and his attitude was from Waianae to town, you're going to do that one day a week, maybe if you absolutely have to. And I'd make that run 2 or 3 times a day,
Oh, yeah.
so
I know
um
exactly what you're talking about. I had an uncle that was in Kailua. From Aiea to Kailua, okay, give us a second, got to psych up for this drive. But now it's, oh, yeah, that's no time at all. When my family comes up, okay, I'll meet you in Las Vegas. It's only 4 hours. 4 hours? That's so far. Not if you're accustomed to driving these long distances.
yeah.
So, yeah, um, the 2 hours is not a big deal. Um, last month, we were in Phoenix, Arizona twice.
How far away is that for you?
That's about 6 hours.
Okay.
And in July, they have the national competition. So last year, Remy got an invitation to compete at the national obedience competition. And this year, he got an invitation to compete in the rally national competition. It's in Ohio.
Wow, okay.
And this year, the rally national is in Missouri.
Yeah, so
But
you
we're,
definitely
we're,
have to fuel up more than once for that trip.
we're going to go. Yeah. You have
Awesome.
to, you can do it in one day, but no, I'm not going to do that. So usually what I'll do is I'll find a dog show between here and there and have it try to make it so that it's the week before the competition, the weekend before. So I will drive to that dog show and then from there go to the national. It gives him a chance to go through a warm up And if I'm going to drive that far, I'm going to make the most of it.
Absolutely.
So, Colorado, did shows in Colorado on the way. Uh, did shows in Nashville, Tennessee on the way to Ohio.
Did you get a chance to sightsee in Nashville? I've never been, but I hear it's worth visiting.
Um, no, not usually. Um, I'm, yeah, again, I'm not really much of a traveler. So, uh, oh, that, remember that train ride up to Seattle?
Uh-huh.
That time that, okay, I wanted to do that. That was right about the time of the National Obedience Competition where I was going
Oh.
to Ohio. So I couldn't make it. I wanted to, but I couldn't.
Have you made any of our class reunions so far?
No, this will be my first.
Wow. Okay. So you are attending. That's good news.
I hope so.
Yeah. When was the last time you were back in Hawaii?
Back in Hawaii. Um, Usually there's some kind of event going on. Um, Graduation, the kids are graduating from high school, or a funeral, weddings, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's been a couple of years. Right out of college, I was going back every year. Um, and then that was in 79. In 85, I bought my house. Okay, I can't afford to go back every year. And there's work that needs to be done around the house. So I would go back every couple of years. So
Except for
yeah,
your siblings now, are your parents still with us?
no,
Okay.
both my parents are gone.
Mine also, and in my mind, that made a difference too. When I didn't have that generation above us, aunties, uncles, my mom, it it changed the draw to go home. I mean, yeah, I love to go there, hit the beach. I love to go there, eat some food, but I don't know that visiting time that's always included in a trip back home just was different. I don't know, without that generation above us to, walk in and just get dragged into the kitchen immediately and force fed, regardless of the fact that you just ate 10 minutes ago. That was always, and the best laid plans, you think, okay, I'll go see this auntie for in half an hour. Then I'll go run and see this uncle for half an hour. No. You're at the first stop for 2.5 hours, and then, you get stuck in the other place for 3 hours, and it's like, oh, well, I guess somebody's not getting visited this trip.
The the advantage of being where I am is even though I stopped going to Hawaii as often, the family would come up because they have the kids. They would come up and they would do Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm. So I had the opportunity to still visit with them, uh, even though I don't particularly enjoy the parks. I mean, the parks are fine, don't get me wrong, but uh, it's not something where I will carve out time to go to the parks. But because I have the family coming up to visit, it is my opportunity to spend time with the family. So I would go to the parks and
Yeah.
go with them, be with them as much as possible, help them navigate to the different locations. And of course, what visit is a visit without food? So I would take them to the restaurants in the area, and they were always surprised that they didn't go to the same restaurants twice. Every time they came up, it was a different set of restaurants. And they
Now,
liked that.
in the area that you live, are there what you recognize as local food places?
Um, yes and no. Uh, Hawaiian food has become more and more popular. So there are several, but it's California. They put their own slant on things.
That's like up here in Minnesota. There's been a real growth in poke places,
Yes.
but you gotta peek in because some of it is very fusion poke. I mean, you're going, what is that in there? Oh, that's such and such. I'm going, never had that in poke before, you know.
But it's okay to try different things. Uh, the the only this is going to go way back in time. I was working, and they took me to a for lunch. We went out to a place I'd never been to, Chinese place, and they had raw fish. So when I went there to make a plate, I looked at it and went, "Yeah, I'm not eating that. That's not fresh." They go, "No, no, it's fine." I said, "Yeah, I'm not risking getting sick on that. No." Very, very, very picky about raw fish. It has to be fresh.
Obviously.
So my sister, who is in Nevada, they didn't have places that sold raw fish, let alone served it. So when I would go visit, I would take over some raw fish that I would get from the local um, fishmonger. It was a Japanese store, but I really liked this place because there was one time I went in and I said, "I want a pound of aku." And he went to carve the fish and said, "Wait a minute, what are you going to do with this?" And I said, "Sashimi." He goes, "No, not fresh enough." I said, "Okay, I appreciate that."
Wow, that's
So,
nice.
yeah. So then another time, then I will be back. If you can do that, turn down a customer, I will be back.
Yeah, because that's real concern for your clientele, you know,
Yes.
which is rare in so many
Yes.
places these days. So,
If I was going to fry it, it would have been fine. But no, not for raw fish. So the Hawaiian places around here are, chicken katsu kind of places. They do tempura, they do udon. Uh, the Vietnamese has become quite popular. Uh, the the shabu shabu has become very, very popular. Uh, the yakiniku has become popular. But there is one place that I found. Uh, it's called North Shore, and they do the Kahlua pig.
wow.
Um, they don't do the poi, but they do the plate lunch types of things, and they
Have,
are very generous with the amount that they give you.
have you gotten to talk to the owners to find out how, you know, do they have a connection to Hawaii or how they opened up or
I did not. They're they're not super busy, but they have there's this tiny little hole in the wall place, and they get a steady flow of people. So they're busy, and they have a sign posted that says everything we do is fresh. So it might take a few minutes longer than you would if you went someplace else that has things in the pot and just sitting there.
I made a note along the way. I read an article of a place with a Los Angeles, California address. It's called Broken Mouth Korean Local Food. And in 2023, they were Yelp #1 restaurant.
Wow.
Apparently a local owner, Korean food. He makes meat jun,
Oh,
which I wasn't smart enough to realize is actually a Hawaii dish. It's not a Korean dish. Because when I got to the mainland and walked into a Korean place and asked for meat jun, they gave me a very funny look. So one of the things we've had to make do and create also on our own is good Gao Min.
mm-hmm.
You can find not bad Gao, but they don't do it with the noodles for some reason. I don't know. Maybe that's another Hawaii thing. I'm not sure. So,
Yeah. The chop suey houses back home or
oh,
Gao Min, yeah, you're not going to find that here. You'll find, to my surprise, the first time I ordered 1 ton soup up here, they came out with a bowl of the broth with 1 ton in it. Where's the noodles? Oh, you didn't order it with noodles. Oh, okay. Good
yeah.
to
I
know.
I've learned without saying the word min or seeing the word min, you're not getting noodles. So,
Yes.
um, so when are you gonna be in town for the reunion? That week of or any earlier or
Uh, that was the intent. My the youngest niece is graduating from Hawaii Baptist. Um, I can't get into the graduation because the tickets are limited.
mm,
That kind of seems to be the way things are now. Each family only gets like 4 tickets. So mom, dad, grandma, grandpa. Uh, so I won't be going to the graduation, but uh, I take my dogs to my friend's house, and so she watches the dogs while I'm gone. She's going to be in Colorado that weekend.
oh,
So instead of leaving on the 31st or the 30th, like I had planned, um, I'm leaving on the 3rd of June, I think. So she'll be back from Colorado, so I can take my dogs over there.
mm,
So the 3rd of June, and uh, coming back on the 7th after the day after the luau.
okay, good, good. And are you
So
signed up for the class night thing at Natsunoya's?
Natsunoyas, yes.
Okay. Good, good. Well, I'm looking forward. I haven't been home since 22, so and I think I missed the last two reunions. One COVID took out and the other calendar wise it didn't fit, I guess. I did go to the train ride on the 23rd. That was nice. But I only did the Seattle to Portland leg. So it would have been nice to have had 3 weeks available to do that whole run, end up in Vegas, but I wasn't quite as retired as I am now. So I still work. I drive a school bus and a little public transit thing here in town, but it's nowhere near 8 hours a day, which is fine with me. Well, Daryl, big mahalo for doing this with me, man. It's been great catching
Yeah,
up and seeing seeing what's been going on with you for the last 50 years.
yeah, and thank you for doing this. I'm really enjoying the spotlight. It's a chance to see what others are up to.
And continue to watch because I've gotten lined up just waiting to be posted. So,
Very cool.
yeah, brother, we'll see you in June.
Okay,
Aloha.
you too.